Hey everybody, ThunderKitten here, and in some circles, this is what's known as my face. So I recently uploaded a RWBY theory about Emerald, and before I uploaded that theory, I had my Yang theory posted, and I had about 23 subscribers at that time. As of today, I have over 500, and you guys, I can't comprehend that. I can't wrap my mind around this idea that over 500 people care about what I have to say about some internet show. And that's awesome! I started doing those RWBY theory videos just for the fun of it, just to see what would happen. And the response, it's overwhelming. You all, I can't even begin to say how grateful I am. So thank you very, very much for making this tiny, tiny channel suddenly grow basically overnight. That is incredible. I did want to take a little bit of time to show something else that I'm interested in, and that's cosplay. And since you guys are interested in RWBY, I thought I would show off my Nora Valkyrie Magnhild hammer. Don't worry, I will be making more theory videos, so it's not going to suddenly become a cosplay channel overnight, okay? But if you enjoy this video and would like to see more cosplay stuff, please just let me know. I'm more than happy to show off more stuff or work on some tutorials or who knows. A lot of new cosplayers or aspiring cosplayers get really discouraged from seeing some of the amazing cosplays that are out there and realizing that they're expensive materials and that they could never afford stuff like that. So I wanted to make this video just to show you guys that you can have fun in cosplay and make some really cool stuff out of cheap and easy to find materials. So why don't we go take a look at the hammer? So here are the main things that I used on this hammer build. Firstly, EVA foam. This is craft foam. It's just from Hobby Lobby. You can get these sheets for about $1 typically, and I used a combination of 2mm and 3mm. You can also get thicker pieces of foam, especially as floor mats. People will often use those for armor builds. Most oftentimes you'll see that for Mass Effect armor or Gears of War armor. Recently, Punished Props did a steel armor build from Skyrim that looked really good out of those floor mats as well. Next, I've got non-corrugated cardboard, also known as chipboard. You can see it's really thin and it's actually very sturdy. It's kind of like cardstock, only a little bit thicker. And this is the stuff that a lot of cereal boxes and things are made out of. I like using the raw cardboard instead of the stuff that's been printed on like a cereal box, simply because that ink tends to mess with the glue and sometimes interfere with how it interacts with the foam and the cardboard and everything. This is just a divider from a sauce box at a fast food place. So if you want to ask McDonald's or anybody like that, hey, do you have, cardboard dividers in your sauce boxes? And sometimes they'll give them to you for free. So that's one thing that you can check out. For gluing the whole thing together, I like to use tacky glue. You can find this at Walmart, you can find it at Hobby Lobby, other types of craft stores, things like that. It's a little bit more expensive than other similar white glues. It dries clear, but I just find it to be a lot more reliable than, say, like Elmer's glue or anything like that. This is great for using on craft foam and cardboard, but obviously, hot glue, super glue, Gorilla Glue, those are all fantastic glues that are great for multiple applications. So it really just depends on what you're doing with it as far as your choice of glue is concerned. Now, I did a lot of raised designs on the hammer for some intricate patterns, and so in order to do that, I use 3D fabric paint. And this you can pick up at any craft store, fabric store. They're usually only a couple of bucks, maybe $3 on average, and you can get them in all types of different colors. I just happen to have gold because I started a project that needed gold, and I've been using this same bottle for a couple of years now. I don't really use a whole lot of it, and it's great. You can paint over it just fine. So this is definitely worth picking up if you want to do any raised designs. It can get messy, so just be sure to have plenty of napkins and Q-tips around to help clean up any mistakes that you make along the way. All right, so as you can see, I've laid out a yardstick for reference. And so the bottom half of the handle here is about the same size as this yardstick. as you can see. And this is just to give you guys a sense on how monstrous this thing really is. So let's take a look at the detail. For this shallow design here, this is just some of that cardboard overlaid on top, just glued straight to the wood. And then these pieces here, this is craft foam, and I actually carved in this design. It's really easy to do. It's actually carved into the craft foam before sealing it, and then I painted it to make those designs stand out a little bit more. And then, as you can see, same thing on the other side. Now here at the top of this piece, we have a little tiny hole that goes all the way through, a little slot, and that just lines up with the bottom of the top half. It actually slides into this right here. This is hollow on the inside. It's still kind of unpainted. Then I put a screw through there, and that just secures it. It's really sturdy, and that way I can break it apart so that I can get it in a car, because obviously this thing is huge. So then right here at the top of the handle, got this decorative thing, same thing on the other side. This crossbar here is also wood. This, that's craft foam to add a little depth there. You can see that. And I think that's just 2mm. And this pole does go, this whole handle piece does go straight all the way through. Now, you can probably see this. All of these designs are raised. That is the 3D fabric paint. And then also same thing with the paint job, darker and lighter to create contrast. We've got this top piece here, which is just a separate piece. It's made out of the cardboard for sturdiness with the craft foam over top of it. And that's basically how the whole thing is made. The undersides of each piece are the cardboard, and the top piece is the craft foam, and that just gave it a nice sturdiness. So these pieces here, that's actually just the cardboard, and then this is the foam. Same thing with this. And right here you can see that again. This is the foam, and this is the cardboard. Nice little Celtic knot thing. This is just cardboard with 3D fabric paint over top of it. It ended up getting broken at one point, so I had to glue it back together with another piece of cardboard underneath. So there is this little divide that I'm not super happy with, but you know, mistakes happen, things get damaged, you gotta patch it. That's just how it goes. I really like this piece here because you can see how it's shaped. You can see inside the hammer a little bit. Hey. Alright, so flipped it so we can see a little bit more inside. Get a better angle here. So for this whole piece right here, that's a continuous piece of cardboard, and then these are separate pieces of craft foam because there is an obvious divide on her design. And then this is, it's not really a full ring, obviously, it's just a partial ring that goes around on either side. And, you know, this is the cardboard. I think it's 2 layers of cardboard. That's the minimum that I work with whenever I work with cardboards. I usually do 2 layers. And it gives it a nice sturdiness because then once you glue those 2 pieces of cardboard together, it almost has a very thin wood feel to it. So I've got that. That's the cardboard. And then this is a layer of craft foam over top. I believe that is the 3mm cardboard. It's a little bit bigger. You can see there is a piece of foam. This is really lightweight, very porous foam that the whole thing is sort of built around and attached to that piece as a support. It is incredibly sturdy but very lightweight, so definitely something to look into if you find pieces like this. I think you can get things like this from shipping companies. Lots of packages will use it to stabilize the contents of a box and things like that. And if you can see these cylinders, I bet you guys can already guess what those are made out of. Those are Pringles cans that I spray painted with Valspar paint from Lowe's, I think. And it came in the perfect color. I was very happy about that. All right, so here's the front. Same thing, layers of cardboard with craft foam on top. At some point, I needed to leave the craft foam alone while it was gluing to the cardboard, and I actually had to secure it with paper clips. And you can actually see right here where a paperclip dug right into that foam while it was setting and just messed that up. But I actually like it because it kind of looks a little bit more like battle damage. So mistakes happen, but sometimes they happen and turn out pretty cool. So I'm not really complaining about that. As with a lot of the pieces for this hammer, these designs are etched in. You just carve those in with a knife. Don't go all the way through the foam, and then hit it with a heat gun, and that's going to open up. So this is a piece that I'm really proud of, is this hole where all of her rockets come out of. It's just basically a cup made out of cardboard. You can see there's a backing. You can kind of see the edge right there. And from a lot of angles, you can't actually see it, especially if you're at a distance. You can't tell that there's a backing to it. It just looks like an endless black hole, which is pretty great. And then I just took a little bit of black paint that was smeared on a napkin, went along the edges here, just to give it to look like it had fired a few shots off already. Yeah, and then here's the final little spike piece here on the end. You can't really see the designs on it very well. I should have gone over with the 3D paint a little bit more. It's very subtle. Again, the whole thing is just very intricate designs all over. It's crazy. Lots of work, but totally worth it. I absolutely loved working on this project. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. That was probably a very awkward transition, knowing me. There is an official Facebook page for the ThunderKitten channel. I basically wanted to make a little nerdy community where we can all talk about the awesome things that we like. We could talk about RWBY, we could talk about Star Wars, we could talk about video games, we could talk about comic books. You could post your fan art or photos of your cosplays. Pretty much just a nerdy place where nerds can talk about nerdy stuff. If you'd like to check that out, there will be a link below in the description, probably in a downward Z direction. I don't know. I wanted to start a fun game with my subscribers, so here we go. In the comment sections of my RWBY theory videos, leave your favorite lines from RWBY and RWBY Chibi, and I will do my very best at the end of those videos to impersonate some of those characters. We'll see how that goes. Thank you for being such supportive and fun subscribers. I've really enjoyed talking to all of you all so far. Let me know what you think of this video and cosplay videos in general, and as always, thank you for watching.